Your dog locked eyes with you last night. Not that goofy, tail-wagging kind of look. Not the classic fill my bowl routine. This was something different, a long, steady, unblinking gaze that landed somewhere deep inside you and just sat there. It felt almost too human to shake off. And here's the thing. What your dog was doing in that moment wasn't random behavior. It wasn't coincidence. It was communication. And the heartbreaking truth is that most dog owners never learn how to read it before the window closes. Welcome to Canine Mind. If you haven't subscribed yet, do yourself a favor and hit that button right now. Because what we cover on this channel will fundamentally reshape the way you see your dog every single day for the rest of your life together. Let's get into it. Can dogs actually imprint on humans? And if yours has already done it, what does that even look like? It's something far more primal than most people expect. Far deeper than simple attachment. And once you understand these 7 signs, really understand them, you'll never be able to look at your dog the same way again. Stay with me, because sign number 4 is the one that catches every owner completely off guard. Let's open with something that plays out every single night in millions of homes across the country, yet almost nobody understands what it's actually telling them. Not your dog curled up somewhere on the couch. Not lazily sprawled at the foot of the bed like an afterthought. We're talking about your dog actively seeking you out, deliberately crossing the room, pressing their body firmly against yours, and only allowing their eyes to close once they know you're right there within reach. This isn't comfort seeking the way we typically think about it. In the wild, canines sleep in packs, and the individuals they position themselves closest to during sleep are precisely the ones they trust with their survival. Sleep is the single most vulnerable state any living creature can enter. Heart rate slows, awareness drops. Every defense mechanism the body has goes completely offline. For a dog to willingly surrender to that state beside you, that means something enormous. You are their safety net, their anchor, their chosen protector in a world that never fully turns the danger off. But there's a second layer to this that most people completely overlook, and it's rooted in biology. Your scent. Dogs carry somewhere in the range of 300 million olfactory receptors compared to our paltry 6 million. Your unique personal scent is, to your dog, the literal smell of home. When they sleep pressed against you, they're bathing in that scent all night long. It actively regulates their nervous system. It sends a signal directly to their brain that says, everything is okay. You are safe. Nothing here will hurt you. And then there's warmth. In raw survival terms, warmth equals life. By curling against you, your dog isn't simply being adorable. They're making a deeply instinctual, almost ancient choice that communicates, this person is worth staying close to. So the next time your dog sneaks under the blankets at 2 in the morning and nudges their way into the curve of your body, don't write it off as neediness. They're not being clingy. They're telling you something that doesn't have words. You're my pack. The second sign is one that genuinely stunned researchers when they first started documenting it, because what it reveals about your dog's level of observation is almost unsettling in the best possible way. Science has confirmed what dog owners have been sensing for years. Dogs don't simply live alongside us. Over time, they begin to become us, and not in some poetic, metaphorical sense, in a measurable, documented, behavioral sense. Studies have demonstrated that dogs absorb the emotional and behavioral patterns of their primary person and begin to mirror them with remarkable precision. If you're naturally anxious, someone who worries, who carries tension in your body, who stays hypervigilant, your dog's cortisol levels will eventually reflect that reality. If you move through the world with calm and steadiness and a fundamentally optimistic outlook, your dog starts to carry that energy too. If you're the kind of person who laces up and hits the pavement at 6 every morning, don't be surprised when your dog is already pacing by the door at 5:59. But this goes well beyond copying your routine. Researchers have found that dogs absorb emotional states through a sophisticated, simultaneous reading of multiple cues, the tone and cadence of your voice, the way you hold your posture, the micro-expressions that cross your face faster than any human could consciously track, and even the chemical signals your body releases when you're under stress or riding high on excitement. Your dog is running a constant, real-time background analysis of who you are and how you move through your daily life. and then recalibrating themselves to match you. Sit with that for a moment. Your dog has built an internal model of you, a detailed, layered, continuously updated portrait of your rhythms, your moods, your patterns, your signals. A dog that has truly imprinted on you doesn't just love you. They study you, they adapt to you, they quietly shape themselves around the contours of who you are. That's not loyalty in the conventional sense. That's devotion operating at a biological level. And speaking of biology, sign 3 is going to reframe a behavior you've probably already noticed. Especially if you've ever watched your dog respond to you in a way they simply refuse to repeat for anyone else in the household. You say sit. They sit instantly. Your partner says sit. Nothing, not even a flicker of acknowledgement. Your friend tries it. The dog tilts its head, stares blankly, and walks in the opposite direction. It's not stubbornness. It's not bad training. And it is absolutely not a coincidence. This selective responsiveness is one of the clearest behavioral indicators of deep imprinting, and the reason researchers have uncovered behind it is genuinely fascinating. Dogs are extraordinarily skilled at reading human social hierarchies. They don't look at a room full of people and treat everyone as equal. They watch, they assess, they map out who leads, who follows, and who, in their perception, carries the most weight. When your dog responds to your voice above everyone else's, it's because you've been placed at the very top of their internal social structure. But here's what makes this different from ordinary obedience training.
Look,
It's not about learned commands alone. It's about your voice, your body language,
Here, watch
and the
this.
emotional consistency you've shown them across hundreds and thousands of interactions. Your dog has essentially memorized the way you communicate the specific shift in your tone when you actually mean business, the change in your posture when a real instruction is being given versus when you're just making noise. They've assembled a comprehensive profile of you that no other person in their life has come close to earning. That selective responsiveness, that unmistakable preference for your voice above all others,
toast is
isn't an
ready.
accident of training. It
Perfect.
happened
I'll
because
take
you
2.
showed up for them, consistently,
Did you pour
in
the
a way that
orange
left a
juice,
mark.
Abuela?
Now, sign 4. This is the one we promised you. And if you've ever come home to find your dog doing exactly this,
It's so
you
good to
probably
see everyone
laughed,
together
maybe
again.
snapped a photo, and moved
I
on.
know.
But what's
The
actually happening
decorations
beneath
look
the surface is
amazing.
nothing short of extraordinary. The pile of clothes you left on the bedroom floor, your gym bag slumped against the wall, the hoodie you dropped over the back of the chair before heading out. If your dog has imprinted on you, there's a very real
Listen
chance
to the
they've claimed
clock.
every single
later
item.
than you think,
Not out
old
of
friend.
spite, not out of boredom, and definitely not because of some questionable interest in your laundry habits. What's driving this behavior is something rooted far deeper than most people ever realize. To your dog, your scent isn't just a smell, it's an experience, a full emotional and neurological experience. It communicates safety. It communicates your presence even when you physically left the room, left the house, left their immediate world. And for a dog who has bonded deeply with you, your absence, even a brief one, can trigger a low-level anxiety response that they don't have the tools to fully process. Your laundry is their solution. By settling into your unwashed clothes, your dog isn't displaying strange behavior. They're self-medicating using the single most powerful calming agent available to them: you. Research on canine separation anxiety has consistently shown that items carrying an owner's scent can produce measurable reductions in stress hormones in dogs while their person is away. The chemistry here is real. There's also a territorial dimension that runs parallel to this. Dogs communicate ownership through scent. When your dog lies in your clothes, they're not just absorbing what you've left behind, they're layering their own scent on top of it. They are, in the most literal biological sense, blending themselves with you, marking a shared identity. It is one of the most quietly profound gestures a dog is capable of, and most owners just toss the clothes in the wash. Don't stop now, because sign 5 is where this gets genuinely emotional, and it involves something your dog can do that most humans, frankly, are not capable of pulling off. You haven't cried. You haven't said anything. You walk through the front door exactly the way you do every other day, same time, same movements, same routine, but your dog is already at your side, already leaning gently against your leg, already looking up at you with an expression that is impossible to misread as anything other than concern. How do they know? The answer to that question is one of the most remarkable chapters in the entire story of the human-canine bond, and it reaches well beyond simply reading body language. Research published in peer-reviewed scientific journals has confirmed that dogs can detect emotional shifts by processing visual, auditory, and olfactory information simultaneously. In real time, when you're stressed, your body is already releasing different chemical compounds through your skin and your breath before you've consciously registered the feeling yourself. When you're carrying sadness, the way you hold your shoulders, the pace of your breathing, the tension across your facial muscles, all of it shifts in ways too subtle for any other human to catch. Your dog catches all of it. For a dog that has imprinted on you, this emotional attunement becomes almost supernatural in its precision. They've spent so much time observing you in your baseline state, relaxed, happy, at ease, that any deviation from that pattern registers the moment you walk through the door. They know you're normal, so they know, immediately and instinctively, when something is wrong. And what do they do with that knowledge? They come to you. They don't ask what happened. They don't try to fix it. They don't offer unsolicited advice or tell you to shake it off. They simply show up and stay nudging a toy toward your hand, pressing their forehead into your lap, or lying quietly beside you in the kind of steady, wordless silence that most humans never manage to offer each other. In a world where genuine presence is increasingly rare, your dog has been paying attention to you the entire time. Sign 6 is something your dog does dozens of times a day, probably every time you go outside together, and you've almost certainly noticed it without ever understanding why it keeps happening. You're on a walk. Your dog sprints ahead, nose pressed to the ground, completely lost in whatever story a scent trail is telling them. And then they stop, turn around, lock eyes with you for a brief, quiet moment, then immediately go back to exactly what they were doing. Half a minute later, same thing. Again and again, like clockwork. This behavior, researchers sometimes call it checking in, is one of the most consistent and reliable signs of deep imprinting. And it's rooted in something ancient that has been woven into the canine nervous system for tens of thousands of years. In wild canine packs, group members rely on each other for environmental information. When one dog is uncertain about whether a situation is safe, they don't make the call alone. They look to the most trusted member of the group for a social cue. Your dog is doing precisely that every time they glance back at you. Except in this particular pack, you are the trusted member. You are the one they look to. You are the pack. Every single glance back at you on that walk carries a question. Are we good? Is this okay? Are you still with me? And every time you respond a word, a nod, even just a moment of easy eye contact and a relaxed expression, you're sending the answer back. Yes, we're good. I'm right here. There's also a conditioning loop at work beneath this. Dogs who check in and receive positive responses, even something as simple as a calm glance back, learn that this behavior keeps them connected to the person they love most. So the loop deepens, the check-ins multiply, and what results is an ongoing conversation,
He dreamed of
entirely
chasing
wordless,
butterflies all
happening
afternoon.
dozens of times per outing between you and an animal who has made the deliberate choice to keep you at the center of their world. It's easy to take for granted. Most people do. But once you understand what that glance actually means, it becomes one of the most moving things you will ever witness. And now we've arrived at sign 7, the one that opened this whole conversation. The stare. But what's happening inside your dog and inside you in that moment is something that will genuinely shift how you understand your bond. In the natural canine world, sustained direct eye contact is a power move. Between unfamiliar dogs, a prolonged, unbroken stare is a challenge, a signal of dominance, an assertion of threat, a statement of intent before conflict erupts. Every dog understands this at an instinctual level. It's not learned. It's hardwired into their DNA across generations. So when your dog holds your gaze calmly, softly, without any tension in their body, they are making a conscious choice to override one of the most deeply embedded instincts they carry. They are choosing vulnerability. They are choosing to communicate affection and connection using a signal that every fiber of their biological programming tells them to reserve exclusively for threats. That is not a small thing. That is, in fact, extraordinary. and science has confirmed exactly how significant it is. Research published in the journal Science documented something that stopped the scientific community in its tracks. When dogs and their owners engage in prolonged mutual eye contact, both parties experience a measurable surge in oxytocin, the same neurochemical that floods the brain during the bonding between a mother and her newborn child. Your dog is not simply looking at you across the room, they are chemically bonding with you. In real time, in the same neurological language that tells a new mother she would lay down her life for the child she just met. Not every dog does this. Dogs who haven't yet imprinted, or who are still in the process of building trust, will look away. They'll break contact. They'll avoid the gaze entirely because their instincts haven't yet been overridden by the depth of the bond. The sustained, soft, completely relaxed stare is something your dog reserves for the one person their entire nervous system has decided is safe. If your dog does this to you, if they hold your eyes without flinching, without looking away, without any trace of challenge or fear in their expression, you are not imagining the weight of what you feel in that moment. You are both feeling it. Simultaneously, neurochemically, the bond is real, it is measurable, and it is running in both directions. Now, one final thing before you go, and this one carries real weight. Can a dog change who they've imprinted on? The honest, straightforward answer is yes. It can shift, but almost never for the reasons most people assume. It's rarely about favoritism. It's not about fickle emotion or personality clashes, or one person simply being more fun. When a dog's primary attachment begins to migrate, it almost always comes down to two things: time and presence. If the person a dog has bonded most deeply with gradually becomes less available, longer work hours, frequent travel, major life transitions, and someone else consistently steps into that space, the bond will begin to follow the presence. Quality matters just as much as quantity. A dog will naturally deepen their attachment to whoever engages with them most authentically through play, through training, through physical affection, through the shared rhythm of daily life. It's not primarily about who fills the food bowl, though that does carry some weight. It's about who shows up for them fully, and who keeps showing up. Here's the good news. The fact that you've stayed with this video all the way through tells you something important about yourself. You're someone who thinks deeply about your dog's inner world. Someone who genuinely wants to understand what your dog is experiencing, not just manage what your dog is doing. And that attentiveness, that authentic curiosity about the animal sharing your life, is precisely the foundation that imprinting is built on. So, start paying attention to the signs. The way they sleep against you, the way they mirror your emotional landscape, the selective way they listen for your voice above everyone else's, the pile of your clothes they've claimed as their own, the way they appear at your side when you're struggling before you've said a single word, the glances they send your way on every walk, and that stare long, soft, steady, completely unguarded. Because if your dog is showing you even a handful of these behaviors, they haven't simply accepted you as their owner, they have chosen you as their world, deliberately, repeatedly, every single day. Subscribe to K9 Mind if you want to keep exploring your dog's inner life at this level, and make sure you check out our next video where we break down 12 things you might be doing every single day that your dog genuinely can't stand. Some of them are going to surprise you a lot more than you'd expect.